One thing's for certain, two things for sure. I'm gonna use my News 24 subscription to come and update you guys as new updates come out about this Mark Kretschmer situation. Here's an update about an 86-year-old woman that gave this bra 6.2 million rand to invest. And as you guys know, currently Mark Kretschmer is missing. FBI, open up! Woman 86 forced to work as family friend vanishes with millions of her retirement money. Take a good look. This is what Mark Kretschmer looks like. This is probably how he smiled in their faces when he came for their monies. 86-year-old Sally Coulter said she trusted Johannesburg financial advisor and family friend Mark Kretschmer with millions of her retirement funds and has been devastated since he vanished. Kretschmer allegedly left Coulter and other clients who have spoken to News 24 with combined losses nearing 40 million rand. Coulter has been forced to keep working despite emotional strain as she and other investors struggle with fragmented legal efforts to seek justice. What is sad is that this lady gave 6.2 million rand because she trusted this family friend. Now she has to fork out more money to pay a lawyer to try and get this money back. If worst comes to us and the money is gone, this bra will only be jailed and there is nothing that she will be able to do because there won't be any money to pay her back. Simply put, 86-year-old Sally Coulter dreamed of spending her twilight years in comfort and financial peace. She planned to go on walks, play a favorite sport, tennis, and entertain and see her family and friends. But she has now been compelled to keep working after the millions she earmarked as a nest egg for her retirement vanished, with Johannesburg financial advisor Mark Kretschmer allegedly to blame. The 56-year-old Kretschmer was not just a name in Coulter's financial records, he was a close family friend. This is why I'm always telling you guys, if you invest in something, cool, leave it there. Don't tell other people simply because you are making money. Because the thing is this, once the person who you are giving money to pulls a Mark Kretschmer, the ones that you brought in, they're gonna blame you because they're automatically gonna think, did this bro just bring me in so that his friend can scare me? And this is very often what happens with that friends, close friends, family friends situations. So whenever you guys deal with people that is gonna deal with your money, keep it to yourself. She said the decades long connection began in the 1970s when she befriended Kretschmer's in laws in Cape Town. Kretschmer's in laws must be so disgusted by his name. I bet when they see him, they are so ashamed. They remained in regular contact, especially as their daughters and grandchildren became good friends. In 2009, Coulter said her strong personal ties influenced her decision to shift her portfolio of investments to be managed by Portcolor Securities, a company that Kretschmer was co-director of. By 2014, Kretschmer's co-director had stepped back from the company and she agreed to let him take over her portfolio. So there's that level of trust as well. Her funds was managed by Kretschmer's partner, and that is how she gained trust in Kretschmer, by proxy of the partner. She thought that because the partner is working so well with my money, Kretschmer will work that well with my money as well. And also, he's a family friend, so he's not gonna run away. Kante. Kante. That is when I started with Mark. Obviously, I was not a big client of his and I had only a small amount of money. But bit by bit over the years, I would invest what I could with Mark and let it grow because it was my retirement money. She told News 24. Her investments were moved to Kretschmer's company PCS Holdings, which he established in 2014. I just find it funny that his co-partner, the one whom he had Portcolor Securities with, steps down 2014 and then he starts PCS Holdings 2014 by himself. That really seems sus. He was its sole director. She said she invested about 6.2 million rand over a 15-year period. As I knew Mark well and our families were close, I trusted him implicitly with my money. Whenever I had saved up some money, I would send it to Mark. When I sold my family house, I invested the balance of the sale price with Mark. He always told me the investments were made in safe, long-term blue chip securities. Family house. Can you guys imagine the sentimental value that this lady let go in search of greener pastures just to get robbed blind. Apart from meeting Kretschmer at his offices in Ilovo, Johannesburg, on one occasion, Coulter said he would always make time to visit her at her home. I saw some provided statements come through, but I actually never went through them with a fine-tooth comb to see every little detail of them. I would always look at the final figure and compare it with the statement that he had sent me before and see that it had obviously grown a bit, and I was satisfied. Coulter and other investors who entrusted their money to Kretschmer said his sales pitch was not about rapid returns, but rather about safe, long-term investments in solid stocks through a boutique agency run by someone they knew. Trust had been built up over years, and obviously the trust had been groomed for her to give over 6.2 million rand. Keep in mind, together, the victims that News 24 have spoken to so far gave this bra 40 million rand. And 6.2 is of this lady's money alone. More than 10%, my bro. This is really sad. I just thought, well, he is looking after my money, it's ticking over, and it looks as though it's growing, and that is what I was pleased about, she said. Coulter added that even her financially savvy daughter, who was visiting from the United States, felt reassured after questioning Kretschmer about her mother's investment in person during a visit. That man was prepared. That man was prepared. Over the years, when I needed a bit of money, I never had any problems or delays with Mark, she said. Obviously, it's a little bit of money. It's not a substantial amount one time, because that is where their defenses start going like that, ma'am. Red flags. Coulter added that the first warning signs came in August last year when she needed funds for a cataract operation. Now, this isn't just a little bit of money for frivolous things. This is your health here. And if she doesn't get those cataracts removed, she can go blind. So she needed money at this point. I battled to get him to respond. When I asked him why he was so slow, his response was that he had just had a back operation and had been in hospital. How true? No one knows. I was literally about to go in for the operation when he transferred the funds, and that was the last tranche I received, she said. Tranche is obviously a payout. Coulter added she would later ask Kretschmer to release another 100,000 rand in December, but was met with excuses. Obviously, in December, her family's coming over from the United States. A daughter probably has children. 100,000 rand is more than enough to take them places, to buy them gifts, to give them a lekker time, man. But now this man is coming with excuses. Still, at the end of the year, she was eyeing retirement with a sense of financial security. Kretschmer had sent her a statement which indicated she had 11 million rand in her account. So, if she had 11 million rand, how hard was it to just give her 100,000 rand, my bro? Nah. So, the statements that he gave her was obviously also falsified. But just months later, in February 2025, he was reported missing. The Pink Ladies organization, which helps raise awareness about missing children and adults, later said Kretschmer was found safe, adding, kindly respect the family's right to privacy. I would lose my balls at that point. No, like, you mean my whole nest egg, everything that I've worked for, I've sold my family house for, and I must respect someone else's privacy? Uh-uh, we are not gonna play that game. Was he even missing in the first place? Remember that I was friends with the family, and my initial response was one of absolute support and empathy. Coulter said, Nee, auntie. Yo, you must try this with a colored auntie from the ghetto, my bro. I battled to get hold of his wife. She told me how terrible it was, but eventually resorted to a message telling me that it was best that we did not communicate. Coulter said she was distraught that Kretschmer, someone she trusted, had vanished and allegedly taken a nest egg along with him. The wife, clearly, number one, didn't want to lie to this Coulter lady anymore, the victim, and she didn't want to incriminate her husband. Because it sounds like the wives, that is the weak point, that is where you get in, right? And it sounds like the wife wasn't willing to give her husband up just yet. She added, at almost 87 years old, it's not something I wanted, but I enjoy my work. How long can I go on for? I'm nearly 90 years old, so it's shattering. No, really, it's really shattering. And it's sad that that much money has disappeared of this lady just like that. But she has a financial savvy daughter in the United States. I'm not gonna say she will be fine because at the end of the day, her money was still defrauded from her. But yo, this is just a sad thing. I'm on sleeping pills, which I've never needed before, she said. Coulter's lawyer, Prudence! Fácil que eu sei. Prudence Miller told News 24 their investigation uncovered evidence of troubling practices, exorbitant fees, alleged mismanagement of a client's accounts, and potential regulatory failures. Miller also acts on behalf of several of Kretschmer's other clients. It is highly unusual that nobody picked this up and sounded the alert. This is, after all, the very purpose of the FI's regulations and rules of conduct. The system and its representatives failed our client dismally, she said. I agree there. Sometimes the FCA takes a little bit long to apply the FI's regulations and the FI's laws against these guys. FI's regulations are supposed to protect consumers from financial misconduct. The Financial Sector Conduct Authority confirmed receiving 6 complaints about Kretschmer and PCS Holdings. Its preliminary assessment team is still investigating whether the complaints give rise to a reasonable suspicion of contraventions of financial sector laws. Once the team has been able to analyze the information, they would be in a position to determine whether there is a reasonable suspicion of financial sector law contravention, it said. Now, my thing is this, right? The lawyer here states that they found alleged mismanagement of a client's accounts. Now, if her clients, and remember, she represents a whole lot of other victims of Kretschmer, right? So if this lady, this Coulter lady, right, if her account has been mismanaged, what's the chances that the other victims' accounts aren't mismanaged? Huh? What's the chances that the other victims' accounts has been left just like that? I mean, why did it disappear in the first place? The regulator added that Kretschmer was a mandated representative of the financial services provider Freedom Capital from November 2014 until earlier this year. Freedom Capital removed him as a representative on 27th of January. An attorney for the financial services company said it was unaware that Kretschmer was using its financial services provider number in the way he did, adding that he appeared to have gone rogue. It is now seeking to have the 56-year-old debar. The Hawks are also investigating Kretschmer for allegedly vanishing with 1.5 million rand belonging to a Limpopo businessman. I haven't even had the heart to tell my son and wife. I'm very, very disappointed. I know deep down we are not going to get that money back, but hopefully he goes to jail. That is the same thing that I told you guys earlier about. It's tough to say whether people will get their money back or not. And if worst comes to worst, then it probably means the money is gone. And the most that these victims will get is a guilty verdict against him, meaning he will go to jail. But I'm telling you, anything can happen. Anything can happen. Money. I'm telling you. The Limpopo businessman who asked not to be named told News 24 2 weeks ago. Other cases have been opened against Kretschmer in KZN, Gauteng and Limpopo. Total losses from Kretschmer's clients who have spoken to News 24 over the past month now stands at just under 40 million rand. Coulter's former son-in-law Anton Mayberry told News24 that investors who lost money through PCS Holdings had set up a WhatsApp group to share information. Mayberry said he had passed some of this material to the Hawks to enlighten them as to the gravity of what happened. Hawks spokesperson Brigadier Thandi Mbambo added they asked Mayberry for case numbers so that they could check whether the matter fell within their mandate. Mayberry said the group was worried about a fragmented approach to the investigation in which dozens of isolated cases were opened at various police stations, many of them rural. He felt authorities had not given the case immediate and focused attention. He added, it begs the question as to how much wrong do you have to do before you attract the attention of the law and the judicial system in this country. Frankly, it's a disgrace. I agree. It's a disgrace, my bro. News24 has been unable to reach Kretschmer for comment. His cell phone is no longer in service, and emails sent to addresses he used to communicate with clients last year now bounce back. His father, Billy, previously said his son was unable to say anything about the case. Hey, I'm telling you, it gets only worse from this point. While it is very clear that Mark Kretschmer took 6.2 million rand from Sally Coulter, the trust and vulnerability has been exploited in ways unimaginable, especially seeing that this bra was a family friend of this lady. This was clearly a disguised predator masquerading as a guardian, and this is what sets the scam so apart. This person came forth as a caring person that only wants the best for this particular victim. When it comes to that kind of emotional manipulation and blurring of personal and financial lines, that's a huge red flag. If you are experiencing that, you should run. Now, one thing that I noticed is that this 6.2 million rand wasn't just given in one go. It was given in tranches over a time period of 15 years. And this gives grounds for exploitation, because if the alleged misappropriation of funds is true, the mismanagement of accounts is true, then that basically means this lady worked for a friend all her life. That is enforced labor, and the smooth tongue he used to coerce that lady gave him ultimate control. As you guys have heard, a total of a missing 40 million rand has been accounted for so far, and this just speaks to the broader scheme. This just speaks to this not being an isolated incident. I bet that as more awareness comes about, more people will come forth. And this is why I'm always betting on you guys to share my videos, because as the awareness spreads, less of these cases will come forth. While Mark Kretschmer is out here with his evasion tactics, playing catch me if you can, the years is taking a toll on some of his victims, and that is something that is intolerable. I sincerely hope the law steps up. I sincerely hope the FSCA's investigation team gets what they need to get to declare this man a risk to other people's financial health, because clearly disappearing with people's money like this and then 40 million at that, that is not on. This case isn't just a financial crime, it's a betrayal of human dignity and a stark warning to you guys watching. Elderly citizens are especially vulnerable, and when friendships like this go wrong, the only people that suffers are the elderly. So let's do our bit and continue the awareness by spreading this video as far as possible. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in my next video. Cheers.